What an amazing song, I gotta say. I love that song. You all are gonna come to love that song too, I know it. But to jump ahead beyond what we're supposed to be saying, the planned script, I just have to say, for that, our executive producer, Julien, when she first heard it, she was like, yep, that is going to be the song for this podcast. She is just a brilliant content creator, and we are so lucky to have her on our team and behind Planet First Action. I know I'm going to bring it back around to what I'm actually supposed to be telling you about, which is why we're here today, to introduce the Planet First Action podcast. But before we do, let's take a step back and tell you who we are and why we're even here. My name is Jacob Frost.
And I'm Ryan Gordon.
And we're the founders of Gordon & Frost. Now, Gordon & Frost is a full-service agency that is focused on scaling climate tech, impact businesses, and sustainability initiatives. We do that, like I said, through a full-service approach. We help companies with their business strategy. How do they find their beachhead market? How do they make the unit economics work? How do they truly scale their business? To the communications and marketing. How do they talk about really complex subjects and distill it in a way that makes sense to all of the different types of stakeholders they need to do, and to do that without greenwashing. To help them understand the policy landscape and how all of these new regulations and laws are shifting demand, providing non-dilutive capital in some ways, and also just enabling their businesses to exist in the first place. We help them with community engagement, with custom research, and with capitalization. And we brought together an absolutely incredible team. It took us a long time, I have to say. It was quite a long time to bring together our team of 25. But to do that, we really have an excellent crew behind the team at Gordon & Frost. We have former heads of ads personalization at Google. We have Harvard researchers who are published, who are now advising the federal government on change management. We have, in fact, the policymakers who are writing the legislation that was passed out in California that serves as the model for the rest of the country. We have capitalization experts that are tied into impact investing. We have true community engagement leaders. All of those different disciplines, we focused on bringing the best in the business together at Gordon & Frost to provide that interdisciplinary approach. But that's enough about us as an agency. I will say, though, if you want to learn more about that, head over to gordonandfrost.com. There's a lot of info there and also ways to reach out and get in touch. But I'll say, though, as it relates to Planet First Action, that through our work serving our clients, we saw that there was just this tremendous gap. There's a lot of great work happening in disparate silos, but there's not enough capital flowing. There's not necessarily enough cohesion, although there's been improvement. There's not enough cohesion between policymakers, community leaders, and businesses. So to better serve our clients, but also to better serve this mission, we launched Planet First Action, an initiative focused on bringing together those disparate stakeholders to enable action, to enable capital to flow into the solutions that really need it, and to decarbonize and electrify and achieve the energy transition in a meaningful and just way. And to, again, pause on that song, why we chose it, why it was immediately clear to our executive producer when she first heard it, is that it is about taking the talent that you have, taking what is yours, taking it to the top, making it the best that it can be, but also about sharing it with the world. It's not something that you should do just for your own self. It really is that bigger mission. It's about contributing to society. It's about making the world a better place, and that is at the core of what we're doing here at Planet First Action.
That's right. So what this podcast is actually going to do is really synthesize that message down on an episode by episode basis by bringing you the absolute best in this country and possibly the world at the founders, the policymakers, what's going on from an investment perspective, really the entire community and stakeholder group, so we can have a really in-depth conversation about what makes this market tick and how we can actually accelerate and really push this ball forward and accelerate this movement.
That's exactly right. And we have to say, for us, especially in servicing our clients and working in the space, there is a nonstop thread of just amazing announcements of new technologies, of new partnerships, of new advancements. But one thing we know for sure is that we need more and more collaboration because it truly is the key ingredient to success. This is not something that anyone can solve alone. And the other thing is that there's no shortage of questions. There's a lot, for every new announcement, there's 3 more questions that come with it of how does it come to life? What are the implications of that? And so that is, again, something we're really excited to focus on with this podcast is, as Ryan mentioned, bringing the best in the business, the best in the world together on this incredible stage and being able to actually ask them those questions.
That's right. This idea actually sprung from an event we had in March with Bernstein's Private Wealth Management division. And really at that particular event, what we were talking about is really the financial materiality behind sustainability and whether or not and how that actually impacts their ability to raise capital. So being able to convene and understand and really gather more than 100 people in a single room from a diverse of founders, between what's going on from, again, the policy and investors, getting all of them in a room, just really have an understanding about how they can actually work collectively and really build business and reach towards this further goal.
Exactly. And in terms of that idea of convening disparate stakeholders, of collaboration, of taking that idea, which may be incredible but doesn't go anywhere if it isn't funded, all of that, there's no one better in the world at addressing each of those dynamics than Newlab, based here in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And we are honored to be partnering with them for this podcast, for this first series of Planet First Action. A huge thank you, by the way, in advance to the Newlab team, who have been absolutely incredible, not just in the work that they do on a day-to-day basis to help these companies to succeed, but also in bringing this initiative to life, this first podcast series. They've been absolutely tremendous. And also, as locals ourselves, we just have to say it is fantastic to have Newlab here in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, in the beating heart of New York City, really the hub of climate tech innovation in the world today.
That's right.
Now, what makes Newlab so special is that over a short 8 years, it has housed more than 250 deep tech startups and over 1,000 entrepreneurs, investors, inventors, and optimists working together to address these critical challenges in energy, mobility, as well as materials. Now, more than 30% of these pilots have advanced towards commercialization, and those companies have more than $2 billion, is with a B, in exit valuation. Now, Newlab has done this by building hundreds of thousands of square feet of physical infrastructure and have secured dozens of square miles of dedicated test sites to prototype and pilot these emerging tech under real-world conditions. They've collaborated with leaders across the industry and government with a new vision of technology-led economic development that really drives meaningful progress for everybody. In fact, in our next interview with CEO Cam Lawrence, we'll get into what makes this model so successful and how they're looking to spread it globally.
So they've really been doing the work that is necessary in order to really scale and advance these technologies. And we're thrilled to be able to actually be on this stage, talk with their CEO, Cam Lawrence, as well as the esteemed panel that we actually had at that March event to really further this goal and understand how we can actually do this better.
Yeah, it's true. In fact, Newlab is doing such incredible work that the federal government is actually looking to learn from it so they can apply it across the rest of the country. And to that end, that's, again, what New Planet First Action is about. It's about taking those good ideas that are happening in certain locales and spreading them with the world. It goes back to the opening song. Take what's yours, take it to the top, and share it with the world. Again, thank you for watching this intro. We hope it's as exciting for you as it is. We know it is for us. We'll ask you to subscribe, do all the good social things, tune in, hit the notification bell so you get notifications, whether it's on YouTube, any of the other platforms. You can also go ahead and proactively head over to newlab.com right now. We would encourage you to do so because they really are incredible. If you're not familiar with them yet, definitely go check them out. To learn more about Planet First Action, you can head over to planetfirstaction.com, learn more about that event that we held in March, as well as some of the other initiatives that we have going on. So be sure to tune in this Wednesday and every Wednesday for the next month and a half to learn from some of the best in the business who have been there before, former successful founders, people who have been working in policy, people who have been working in the best organizations when it comes to financing these new sustainability solutions and climate technologies. And recognize that each of those different types of stakeholders, the policymakers, the community leaders, the founders, that is what this community is all about. It's about bringing them together. So we'd encourage you to not just listen in, but to be a part of the community. Comment, share your thoughts, check out planetfirstaction.com and find other ways to get engaged with the community as well, because that is the key to success.
That's right. And we want to hear from you. So this is not just us about what we actually feel is important, but also your comments and questions are just as crucially important as well. So please, on the platforms, make sure you comment, make sure you reach out to us on our website, make sure you do all the things you do in order to make sure we make this as productive for this community as possible. And again, it takes a village. Let's collaborate and grow this together.
And again, we could not be more thrilled than to be here on this stage. And we're going to leave you with something particularly special at the end, which is a sneak peek of our interview with Cam Lawrence, which will be available this Wednesday. So be sure to tune in. There's great work, but what does it take to really bring it together to help action happen faster, sooner? You guys are, as we mentioned, the models of how do you convene effectively to promote real change. And with that being said, we are sitting here with you now at the helm of probably the most consequential organization in climate tech in New York City and probably the world. I think it's fair to say. And we're talking with an audience that's comprised of all those different types of stakeholders. Want to know, what is your message for each of them, and starting perhaps with the founders.
You know, we have CHIPS, we have the IRA, we have the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Like, all these things are basically already baked in, but what is the next step if basically the administration changes and the ideas change?